Newsbreak, brought to you by National Mutual.
Good evening, I'm Jo Hall. Wild storms have caused chaos across Sydney, unroofing buildings, disrupting train services and blacking out many areas. Emergency workers expect the clean-up to take all night after the front rolled across the city in less than an hour.
Lightning storms across Sydney were the first signs of the violent winds that were about to hit. In just an hour, the storm swept the city from the Blue Mountains and out to sea, the damage bill expected to run into hundreds of thousands. Sydney's west was one of the worst hit areas. At Campbelltown, at least half a dozen homes faced demolition. One family was trapped when their home was hit. In the mountains, a scene of carnage, 40 trees uprooted, cutting power lines, a number of homes ripped apart. Closer to the coast at Seaforth, lightning tore through one home, crushing a garage.
And all of a sudden, this roof just flew off from the top of the house and landed in the tree. It saved me, actually. I was sitting in the car.
Next door, 3 children were trapped when a sunroom collapsed.
One's got cuts on her head and forehead and around her eyes. And she's at Manly Hospital at the moment. The other 2 seem all right.
The State Emergency Service was flooded with more than 200 calls. Power is still cut to at least 40 suburbs. The storm first swept through country areas. Near Wagga, a mini tornado ripped roofs off at least 8 homes. In northern Victoria, Benalla residents described a great gust of wind that came from nowhere and tore the town apart. In the path of the violent storm, the hospitals.
The staff tell me that it was like a bomb exploding when a large section of the roof blew off.
Patients were evacuated, but there were no injuries. Michael Usher, National 9 News.
Victory for the Liberals in the Kooyong by-election has boosted the stocks of leader Alexander Downer, with new MP Petro Georgiou saying the party's standing could be further improved.
The Liberals were bracing for a backlash in Kooyong. Turmoil over Alexander Downer's leadership, coupled with the retirement of Andrew Peacock, pointed to trouble.
The party should reflect on what it would be possible to do if there were unity, discipline and cohesion.
Mr Georgiou won 56% of the primary vote, 63% two-party preferred, all but equalling Andrew Peacock's last majority. A bad result in Kooyong would have once again turned the spotlight on Alexander Downer's leadership. Instead, he's been given an important boost.
We did have some difficulties in the lead-up to the by-election, and had that not been the case, we would have done even better.
Prime Minister Keating's also been speculating about political outcomes. He believes the Liberal Party's problems are so deep it can't possibly hope to win the next election. Peter Harvey, Canberra.
Salvage crews have finally won their battle to free the stranded Tasmanian catamaran Condor 11. 5 tugs managed to haul the vessel off rocks in Hobart's Derwent River.
The new $40 million vessel hit a reef during speed trials 6 weeks ago and, to the embarrassment of her owners, defied repeated attempts to drag her clear. But today, as anxious locals watched on, the rescue mission finally succeeded.
Moving on.
A few more metres and the reluctant Condor floated free.
Yeah, she's underway. All tugs, she's afloat. Well done, tugs, well done.
Once away, the 78-metre Condor was headed towards the dry dock for damage assessment. The repair bill could run to $5 million. Sally Glewis, National 9 News.
The third and deciding rugby league test between Australia and Great Britain will be played early tomorrow morning. While the home side is desperate to break a 24-year Ashes drought, the Aussies remain favourites. Coach Bob Fulton happy with his team's preparation.
I can't ask any more of them. It's all basically up to game time now. Let's get on with it.
Check local guides for Nine's coverage. To cricket, Zimbabwe has lost the opening match of its Australian tour, going down to Western Australia in Kalgoorlie. Reid and Julian both took 3 wickets, some big hitting by Paul Strang boosting the visitors' scorecard.
Meanwhile, only 3.5 overs were bowled in the tour match in Hobart because of rain. England, still struggling to avoid the follow-on, added just 5 runs. A brilliant bowling display from paceman Troy Corbett has clinched Victoria outright victory in the Shield match against Tasmania. The home side set a target of 275, but it was never challenged, Corbett finishing with 6 for 42. And bad light stopped play an hour before stumps in the clash between Queensland and New South Wales at the Gabba. The Bulls are 4 for 114 in their second innings, still 152 behind, with tomorrow the final day. Andrew Bansley, National 9 News.
Scotland's Andrew Coulthard has won the Australian PGA, outplaying his rivals in difficult conditions. Coulthard hung on to beat Queenslander Terry Price with Mike Harwood a further shot back. Overnight leader Paul Devonport dropped a shot on the second, opening the door for his rivals. Price threw out the challenge with successive birdies, but it was Coulthard who handled the conditions best. Despite a scare on the last, he had the title in the bag. Finally, a look at tomorrow's weather. Fine in Sydney, Canberra, Adelaide, Perth and Darwin. Showers for Melbourne, Hobart and Brisbane. And that's all the news for now. Good night.
This program is proudly brought to you by OPSM, where you'll always find the look that's you.